Hello everybody, my name's Mrs. Burse and today we're going to be talking about pop-up cards. This is the third video in a series of 3. If you wish to watch a longer introduction on the history of pop-up cards and pop-up books, look at the other 2 before proceeding with this one. The original pop-up book was called the Chronica Majora, and it was created by Matthew Paris 781 years ago. These are just samples of previous cards that were done. There are 3 major rules with all pop-up cards. The first is all pop-ups cross a gully, and the gully is the line in the center fold of any folded card. The second is that each side of the gully must be balanced. So anytime you have something that is being put in a mechanic, it has to have the same angles on either side of the pop-up. The third and final rule is that every gully creates a new gully, and that becomes really important when you start building out and further and more complex pop-ups. All right, so let's take a look at what you are going to need for this. We're going to be doing the V fold, and you notice the V all comes to a point right in the center of the gully. You can make various sizes. This is about what the piece looks like. It's got tabs on the edge that you can glue down, and then the triangular part or the V part. So let's take a look at how to do that. You fold your paper in half, make sure the edge is really straight, make a nice tight crease, and then where the V part is going to hit the gully, you hold your finger there and bend the paper over. And in all things pop-up, once you crease it one direction, you're going to open it up and fold it back the other direction so that the mechanics allow it to move freely. So you go ahead and crease that again. After you get that done, you got all this extra paper, so you need to trim that off so you just have a couple tabs to help you glue it down. So take your scissors and leave yourself a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and just cut along. And there you have it. And now you're ready to glue it into the inside of your card across the gully. It's really important that you get the V point right in the center of the gully. If you don't, it won't fold closed correctly. The other thing is you're only going to glue down one side at a time, and you'll see why here. So make sure you get the glue all the way to the edges, but you want to make sure that you don't get it onto the interior portion of the folded piece. Otherwise, your card will get glued together. So get the point lined up and stick one edge down. And then you're going to fold it over and fold that other tab, and then you're going to glue it. Stick something underneath it to help you keep from getting glue on the other parts. And then remove your guard and carefully fold the exterior part of the card over. And that way you get the balance that you need to have in a pop-up card. So those are the basics of how to make the V fold. Let's see how we're going to put it together with our lion. You're going to need a sheet of white cardstock for the back and a portion of green and a full size of that yellow-orange for the tiger in the center. There's 2 portions, the chin and the face, that are V folds. And then if you look at the ears, we use that. Every gully creates another gully, and there's actually a parallel fold that the ears are attached to. You will have this template, and the pieces there, A, B, C, D, E, and F, are all going to be cut out of the yellow-orange. The other little pieces you can cut out of colored paper, or you can color pieces of white cardstock and then cut the pattern pieces out. I built the eyes out of one with a white piece and then a dark piece. You can just as easily color the pupil in. You don't necessarily have to cut it. So go ahead and cut those pieces out because that's what you're going to use to trace on your colored cardstock. Once you get all of those cut out, you're going to lay them on your colored cardstock. You're going to have to fold your colored cardstock a certain way in order to be able to get all of those pieces. So watch what I do here. If you notice, it's folded not quite in thirds. It's folded over on the one side to allow for the mane, and that was a little bit wider. So you take your piece and kind of measure from the edge to see about where your fold mark is going to be. Make sure it fits on there, and then you're going to fold that over. The pattern shows a dotted line, and it says put the dotted line on the fold. That's so when you cut it out, it folds open. And the piece you're cutting out here, or the piece I'm tracing here, is the background piece. It's going to get glued onto the very back, so it's not popping up at all. That piece is the chin. And as you trace around here, you need to make sure you get your score marks. That's where the tab is going to be. And so you want to indicate that before you cut it out. So now you have a whole nother piece that you need to put on here. And you see, I don't have enough folded edges there. So I need to fold it over from the other side. And it's the same principle. You use the width of it and then you fold it in half. And it just happens to come together almost exactly in the middle. And this is the front of the face. So you put the front of the face on there and you trace around it. And again, you're going to indicate where the tabs are with a little dash line, and then you take that off of there. Use a straight edge. You can use a piece of paper. I had a pencil handy, so I grabbed a pencil, and that will be your fold line for your tabs. And I marked it tab. Then there's a couple other parts. There I'm showing you the tabs. You need to cut your risers for your parallel fold and mark the fold lines on those as well. And I did each one of these individually because you need those little hash lines. You can just draw those across there lightly because when you cut them out, the hash lines disappear. Right? The ears will cut through 2 layers. The eyelids I'll cut through 2 layers, so I only have to draw it once. There you go. And then we cut those out. I'm tracing the pupil onto some white cardstock. Once you get all your pieces cut out, I go ahead and I start by making the risers and building my ears and just setting those aside so that when I get to that part, the ears are fully stuck on there. So you fold the tiny tab in, fold it in half, and then fold it in half again. Once you folded it once, you're going to reverse it and fold it all the other directions. Then take that tiny little tab and glue it, and then fold it the other direction and press it and press it. Then you do the same thing with the other piece. And just use a little bit of glue. There we go. And I glue my ears. And here's where you see I found out I colored on the wrong side. So I just fixed it. All right. So now I'm going to start with my 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. Make sure the corners come right together. Make a nice crease and fold it back the other direction. This cream color is a little easier to see on camera. So the first piece we're going to do is we're going to put down the back of the lion head. We're going to put the mane down. So this one doesn't pop up, but we want to make sure we get it glued right in the center. So I'm using the inside of my card, but only in the very center, as a place for my glue stick to kind of go off. Make sure you get all the edges. Hold the card at a 90-degree angle and slide that right up into the crease. And then make sure you open it up and lay it flat so that the card is functioning properly. Here you go. Now we've got a nice base. Now it's time to glue the face of the card on. So get it lined up, kind of position it where you want it. See how it sticks up a little bit. Glue one edge, and just one edge. Make sure your point gets right in the gully where you want it to be. Glue the one edge down, then fold it back and crease the other tab. Glue the other tab. Keep your finger under it to keep the glue off the card. And then close the card to meet that tab rather than try and stick it across the gully. There you go. Okay. So you're going to do the same thing with the chin. This one's a little tricky because it goes up underneath the bottom of the face a little bit. So you stick one tab and see how I fiddle around with it a little bit there. And do a practice close if you need to make sure it's going to work. Got a little glue. Wipe it off with a cloth. Put a little more glue on the other tab. Get it lined up and close it up. And now the mechanics are equal on either side. And now you can decorate. I'm putting my eyeballs on there. This second one that I did, I left the eyelids off. It's a little wider eyed. The first one I did looked a little sleepy. All right, so now I'm using a parallel fold in the gully that I've created with my first pop-up. I glue my ear onto one side, and then I have to glue down the other two sides. One will go to the back of the card, one will go to the side of the face of the lion. So I got the glue on there, I stick it on there, and I close it up and I hold it down. And this one, I'm going fast in this, so they're not wanting to stick. You got to be patient and just keep sticking it back down, and they will eventually stick. So on the other side, I put the riser on first. See if that would make any difference. And then I'll glue my ear on top of that. Yep. And close it up and hold it. It still wants to pop off. So close it up until it really sticks good. And there you have the face. No, it looks a little different. I don't have the nose on it yet, so you can put a nose on it. And you can use different colors to decorate it. Make the lines come out to the edge of the mane. Make it look a little more hairy and fuzzy. And you can decorate these however you want. You can make other little friends in the card. And your background can be whatever you want. You could have trees. I put in grass, and I just cut green paper. I'm not lying. I hope you have a roaring great birthday. That was just a saying I put in there. You can put whatever you want in there. With some of the scraps that came with your packet, you can use your markers to decorate. If you don't have green paper, you can use green markers and make green grass. It doesn't have to be a birthday card. It can just be a card to whoever. Okay. So I hope you have fun making these pop-up cards. I can't wait to see all the different varieties that we get. All the different creations that you produce. Have fun. Don't forget to watch the other videos for other pop-up card ideas. And don't forget the outside. Bye, everybody.